Understanding the New Covenant, a closer look at Hebrews 8. Greetings everyone, I hope all is well with you. Today I want to go over Hebrews 8, 6-12, a passage often used by many Christians to claim that the New Covenant replaces the Old, meaning the New Testament replaces the Old Testament, and that the Torah, the law of the Most High, which many call the law of Moses, is no longer in effect. Let me be clear, I'm not here to bash Christianity. I'm here to shed light on the misinterpretation of Paul's letters. Many quote Paul without understanding his depth or the context of his writings. Sadly, most aren't willing to read or listen. And as Peter warned in 2 Peter 3:16, his letters contain some things that are hard to understand, which ignorant and unstable people distort as they do the other scriptures to their own destruction. Hebrews 8, 6-12, and Jeremiah 31, 31-34. When studying Hebrews 8, Paul references the new covenant that would replace the old covenant. But if you read only this section, you'll miss the full picture. It's always vital to read from the beginning and use precept upon precept, as the prophet said in Isaiah 28:10. For precept must be upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Let's start with Hebrews 8:5. Who serve the copy and shadow of the heavenly things, as Moses was divinely instructed when he was about to make the tabernacle. For he said, "See that you make all things according to the pattern shown you on the mountain." Then in verses 7-10, Paul writes, "For if that first covenant had been faultless, then no place would have been sought for a second. Because finding fault with them, he says, Behold, the days are coming, says the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they did not continue in my covenant, and I disregarded them, says the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says the Lord. I will put my laws in their mind and write them on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people." Many stop there, but to understand Paul's point, you must keep reading. Verse 13 says, "In that he says, a new covenant, he has made the first obsolete. Now what is becoming obsolete and growing old is ready to vanish away." At first glance, that sounds like the Torah is abolished, but that's not what Paul is teaching. Hebrews 7-9, context of the New Covenant. In chapter 7, Paul explains the priesthood of Melchizedek, the king of Salem and priest of the Most High, and how the Messiah came in that same order, bringing a new and greater priesthood. In chapter 9, Paul speaks about the earthly sanctuary, the tabernacle, and the limitations of the Levitical priests. The high priest went alone once a year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the people's sins committed in ignorance. Hebrews 9:7. These animal sacrifices were symbols, pointing toward a greater atonement to come. Then in verse 15, Paul writes, "For this reason he is the mediator of the new covenant by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions under the first covenant, that those who are called may receive the promise of the eternal inheritance." So the new covenant isn't about abolishing God's law. It's about Messiah Yahusha, Christ, becoming the final and perfect sacrifice, replacing the animal sacrifices of the old priesthood. Hebrews 9:19-22, the role of blood. When Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of calves and goats, saying, "This is the blood of the covenant which God has commanded you." And according to the law, almost all things are purified with blood, and without shedding of blood there is no remission. Paul continues in verses 24-28, showing that Messiah entered heaven itself, not a man-made sanctuary, offering his own blood once for all to bear the sins of many. Then in chapter 10, Paul clarifies, "For the law, having a shadow of the good things to come, can never, with these same sacrifices, make those who approach perfect." Hebrews 10:1. Again, the issue wasn't the law, It was the animal sacrifices that couldn't fully remove sin. The perfect offering. Therefore, when he came into the world, he said, "Sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but a body you have prepared for me. Behold, I have come to do your will, O God." Hebrews 10:5-7. The Messiah's sacrifice fulfilled what the sacrifices symbolized. He takes away the first that he may establish the second. This means the sacrificial system was replaced, not the Torah itself. Paul then echoes Jeremiah 31. "This is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, says the Lord. I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds I will write them. Their sins and lawless deeds I will remember no more." Hebrews 10:15-17. Living by faith, not lawlessness. Paul warns in Hebrews 10:26-31. If we sin willfully after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins. Anyone who rejected Moses' law dies without mercy. Of how much worse punishment will he deserve who tramples the Son of God underfoot? So yes, we live by faith, but faith doesn't cancel obedience. We are saved by grace, yet we must still keep the commandments, laws, and statutes of the Most High. As Yahusha said in Matthew 5:17-20, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. Until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter or stroke shall by any means disappear from the law until all is accomplished." Anyone who sets aside even the least of these commands and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Conclusion. The new covenant didn't replace the Torah, it fulfilled and elevated it through the Messiah's perfect sacrifice. We no longer offer animal sacrifices, but we are still called to walk in obedience, with his laws written on our hearts. If you don't understand Paul's writings, ask the Most High for wisdom. As it says in James 1:5, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach." The Torah is not abolished. It is alive in us, guiding us to walk righteously through faith and obedience. Shalom.